evening. Welcome to the Edgecombe County Human Relations Committee 2016 Meet the Forum, Meet the Candidates Forum that we're having for you this year. This has continuously being held yearly so that we'll be able to know and recognize and be aware of who our candidates really are. So welcome to each and every one of you. I'd like to welcome all the candidates, each and every one of you. My name is Mary Hinton. I'm on the program. I'm on the Human Relations Committee. We welcome you here this afternoon. Welcome you once, welcome you twice. This is very important to us. So at this time, I would like you to stand and let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're not going to hesitate. We're going to move along because the candidates have information for us. We have a moderator this evening. Alice Chenal is our moderator. I'll tell you a little bit about her. She has been a member of the Human Relations Committee. She is also a native of Princeville and lives in Tonka in the Mildred Township. She serves on various boards in our town, city, and county. She is a wife, and she's a mother of 2 boys, and her husband is Brendel Chenal. Also, she's Assistant Director of Area Health AAD in Rocky Mountain. I present to some and introduce to others our moderator, Ms. Alice Chenal.
Hello, Edgecombe County citizens and supporters. I'm excited, are you?
Yeah.
I'm excited for the candidates. Let's give them around now. And thank you all for being here. Let me first start with the forum rules. And this is printed on the left side of your program. Really quickly, candidates are, of course, asked to respect each other and the sponsors of this forum by abiding by the times that are allotted for your response. All candidates with the opposition will be given 3 minutes for their speeches and comments, and if there are candidates without opposition, 2 minutes for all speeches. Pretty much that's it. You know that the information is outside of this door if you would like to take literature or promotions for any of the candidates. So with that being said, the first thing I'd like to do is read a letter that was mailed by Ms. Holly Jones, who is running for North Carolina Lieutenant Governor. And it reads, Holly Jones grew up and attended school in Asheboro. Attended UNC Chapel Hill, earning a BA degree in Public Policy Analysis and an MPH Master's in Public Health. Along Life United Methodist, Holly also received a master's degree in divinity from Duke University and served in the mission fields for 3 years. Holly began her stateside career as a public health educator in Durham County, 3 years of working in Durham County in the schools and neighborhoods, took a position as executive director of the YWCA in Asheville. She found a crumbling building and an organization in decline. Under her guidance, she helped turn the YWCA around spearheading a $4 million capital campaign. She increased the annual budget from $750,000 to $300 million. I'm sorry, $3 million, big difference. And went from a staff of 55 to one of 120. Today, Holly is Director of Member Services at the YWCA USA, helping to guide a national organization dedicated to empowering women and eliminating racism. In 2001, she ran and won a seat on the Asheville City Council at a time when the city was transforming from Sleepy Mountain City to a bustling economic center. She served on the council, including 2 years as vice mayor until 2007. In 2008, Holly won a seat on the Edgecombe County Commission, helping the county weather the Great Recession better than many areas of the state. Today, Edgecombe County currently has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the state. Holly is a driven, progressive candidate that will bring new energy to Raleigh as Lieutenant Governor. And she hopes to earn your vote in the March 15 primary. Right. So, I'd like to invite candidate Marcus Williams Whitman to the podium. Here he is. All right.
Mr. Williams is not able to be here tonight due to a conflict in his schedule, but he do ask that the community remember him when you go to the polls to vote.
Thank you. One thing I'd like to share with you really quick, in case you didn't know, you did not receive a postcard, a white, card with lines on it to write questions that you may have of the candidates. Of course, there's a time earmarked in the program to entertain those questions, but that's for you to start writing down at your pleasure. Now I'd like to call forward candidate Maisie Butler Ferguson. And before Ms. Butler comes forward, I'd like to, just for the sake of reading, read all the questions that each candidate will be responding to, and then from there, they can take it and respond to each question in that order. The first question is, why are you interested in this position? What is your main priority if elected or re-elected? Second question. And what actions will you take in your position that will enhance the quality of life of citizens in Edgecombe County specifically? In those orders.
Thank you very much, and I'm delighted to be here in Edgecombe County. I have looked forward to this because I have had a strong connection to Edgecombe County in the name of a young man by the name of Alaric Hopkins. Anybody know Alaric? Alaric Hopkins? I really want to see him. If you can help me locate him before I leave here this evening, I would appreciate it. His grandmother worked for me in Spartanburg, South Carolina many, many years ago. And that she had to come because Mary Jo's husband died, and so she needed someone to take care of Alaric. And so she left me and came here. So I wanted to get back to Topper just so that I could find Mrs. Nunn, who died, before I could get back here. But I'm delighted to be here with you. It's good to be in Edgecombe County. I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney since 1978. I went to law school in 75, passed the bar in 1978, and I have been working all of my life for labor. So it's not surprising that I am running for Labor Commission. Someone asked me, why did you decide to run for Labor Commission? Well, the truth of the matter is I've been working for laborers all of my life. And this might be a chance where I could finally get paid for it, because I wasn't getting paid for it when I did the rest of my life. I've always been a labor organizer. I've been the Southern Institute of Occupational Health. Was convened by me in early before I came here, as I was working from South Carolina. I've been the director of Palmetto Legal Services, a 16-county legal agency, executive director there, and I had 25 lawyers who worked for me, and we worked on cases that had to do with labor and with all kinds of things where the poor and low and working class people were concerned. I am concerned about workers. I am concerned that workers work, And I will tell you this. If you read the News and Observer out of Raleigh or the Charlotte Observer, you will find out that both of those papers indicate that the present Commissioner of Labor does nothing for the workers of North Carolina. And I'm interested in working for the workers of North Carolina. Benefits have been cut in all kinds of places. People have appealed workers' compensation cases, employment compensation cases, gotten all the way up, and they have appealed the fact that they were not given their full wages, working overtime hours, not getting compensated for it, and then when they appeal to the Commission on Labor, then they are told that you didn't win. You didn't, and that's because the Commission on Labor has not found on behalf of people and of workers, or more than the thousands of cases, not more than 50 times that she found on behalf of the workers. And the workers of North Carolina deserve to have a spokesman. The Commission on Labor is one of the 10 members of the Council of State. Do you know that they make decisions in workers' compensation, employment compensation? They make decisions in immigration, civil rights, voting rights. Do you know all of that come under the Department of Labor? All those things come under the Department of Labor. And we have no one speaking for the workers. Thank you so much. Mrs. Sherry, who's president with the Department of Labor, does not do anything for you. I want to work for you. I want to work for the workers. I want to be for the workers of North Carolina. And I'm willing to answer any questions you might have later about what that means in terms of my work as an attorney. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. Each candidate will be asked to introduce him or herself, and the 3 minutes will roll during your introduction and then proceed to the questions. Next, we will have Daniel Terry Bldg III, running for North Carolina Treasurer.
Good evening, and thank you for having me here this evening. My name is Dan Bldg III, and I'm running for State Treasurer. Your State Treasurer does 4 things that most people are concerned with. First, she, and the current incumbent is Janet Cowell, she manages the state pension, which is approximately $90 billion of retiree and active state workers' money. Second, she administers the state health plan, which covers approximately 700,000 lives of state workers and their dependents. Third, she chairs the Local Government Commission, which ensures that communities, such as Edgecombe County, and such as our entire state, have the ability to tap into the debt markets to raise money to invest in our infrastructure. And then fourth, she sits on 2 of our most important boards and commissions, that is the State Board of Education and the Community College Board, to make decisions related to the education of each and every one of our citizens, whether they are in kindergarten or they're adults going back to seek retraining. I'm running because my background and my experience demonstrates my commitment to public service work. First, I was born in Raleigh, went to public schools there. My wife grew up in Nash County. She went to public schools there as well. I went to Duke University and received degrees in biomedical engineering with a minor in public policy studies. Went back to get degrees in law and business. I took my business degree and went to New York to work in the financial services industry. Left that to start a company in the healthcare industry. Eventually found my way back home where I worked in law with my dad and brother, serving primarily as a bond attorney where I raised money for the state of North Carolina and for our colleges and universities. I've raised over $700 million for the state of North Carolina, our colleges and universities, to invest in their infrastructure. So when I talk about the things that are important, I talk about the pension, I talk about the state health plan, I talk about the local government commission, and I talk about education. My background shows that I'm committed to each of those. I'm committed to our public sector workers, not just because they're important people, but because part of their compensation, those benefits that we describe, whether it is the health plan or the pension, is what allows us to attract and retain good quality employees, teachers, engineers, maintenance people, foresters, the folks that actually make our state government run. We owe it to them to make sure that we hire the best and the brightest and that we keep them here so that everyone is able to benefit in an environment that grows. As North Carolina grows, we want all people to grow with it. Now, you don't have to take my word for this. I carry with me the endorsements of some of my favorite people. The educators through NCAE, the working families through AFL-CIO, and the ability to do the job as represented by Janet Cowell's endorsement. She is the current treasurer. She is not seeking re-election, and she has thrown her support behind me. I have the depth and breadth of experience to do what needs to be done, and I look forward to serving as your next treasurer. I ask for your vote. Thank you.
District 2, Ms. Viola Harris, County Commissioner candidate.
Good evening. First, let me thank the Human Relations Commission for sponsoring this candidates forum. As she said, I am Viola Harris, and I'm from Tarboro, but I was born in Leggett. I'm married to Reverend Mitchell Harris. We have 3 adult daughters and 1 beautiful granddaughter. I'm running for re-election, and you ask why? Because over the last 15 years, I've had the opportunity to serve District 2, and I believe I've been effective. If you were to look at my resume, you'd see that I've managed to get myself on not 1, but 15 different committees, from locally to the state to the national county commissioners. The reason I've done that is because I wanted to make sure that Edgecombe County was at the table. When decisions are being made, we need to be at the table to make sure that we can bring the proper documentation and plans and issues back to our county. So I've made sure that I've done that. I've served twice as the president of the North Carolina Association of Black County Commissioners. I'm currently the vice chair of the North Carolina Alliance of Black Elected Officials, which is made up of black commissioners, mayors, municipalities, all of us working together on certain issues in our community. The question, if re-elected, what would my main priority be? My main priority, if re-elected, would be to continue to work closely with the current Board of Commissioners, because there is no I in a board. There's us. I'm only 1 vote. And if I can't convince 3 other commissioners that I have a good idea or that I can fight the issue, nothing gets done. So I will work with that board, because teamwork is what it's going to take for us to continue to do for Edgecombe County. These priorities would include working with our school system, the business community, faith-based organizations, as well as our nonprofits, because it will take all of us to ensure that every citizen in Edgecombe County has the opportunity to live and thrive in this community. What actions will I take in my position to enhance the quality of life in Edgecombe County? One of the main actions that I would like to continue is to pursue a countywide recreation for all of our citizens. We've already started to make baby steps in that direction by working closely with our Board of Education and opening the doors and the gates at all of our schools so that parents and children have the opportunity to play and engage together on playground equipment. They can walk together, and that is the first step in making sure that we get rid of obesity in Edgecombe County. I would also like to continue to work on our STD rates. We have an epidemic going on in our county, whether we want to face it or not. And it's going to take all of us to take an active part in working with our young people as well as our old to make sure that they have the best health care that we have to offer. I'd also like to pursue a resource countywide directory. That directory would make sure that all of our citizens have in hand where they need to go if they need something from social services, if they need the sheriff. We'll have it all in one place. Thank you.
Candidate for District 2 County Commissioner, Mr. Calvin Sherrod.
Thank you. Number 1, my name is Calvin Sherrod. Why are you interested in the position? I feel like that the city of Edgecombe County, District 2, need and observe better protection. What is your, number 2, what is your main priority? Elected or re-elected? When I elect, I will seek and reduce the tax for all Edgecombe. When I elect, I will seek and reimburse and return the Princefield Police Department. And when I elect, when the election seek to return and lower the Princefield water and sewer rate. And that action will you take, number 3, and what action will you take in your position that will change the quality of life of the civil in Edgecombe County. When election, I will continue to support the family development through supporting the quality of education opportunity through our education program, school, college, and continue to recruit jobs through economic development and job creation. And I thank you, and y'all come to the poll and vote and support lowering the Edgecombe County tax. It's too high. Instead of going up, water rate is going all over the county. Run the water system. We start off with low price and jack you up from here on out. And we need to get a handle on anything. The board, I need to get with the board and we negotiate these conditions because we need some help out here. Most of Edgecombe County don't have no job, and instead of hiking the tax, property tax, water bill, and nobody seems like they care or saying nothing about it. But we need to stand up to the county, local, and state officials. And when we think we've been treated wrong, we need to step out and do something about it. Force your voice and your opinion. As long as you don't say nothing, they're not going to do nothing. You don't do nothing, they're not going to do nothing. But all the people around need to stand up now. It get to a point now, big government. Some people get behind get the election, get behind the table, and disrespect for the people who vote them in. Thank you, man. And thank you, man. That's it. Thank you all.
District 2 County Commissioner candidate, Mr. Roy A. Gray, Sr.
Good evening. I'm Roy A. Gray, Sr. I want to start out by saying tonight that thank you, Human Relations Commission, for sponsoring this as we try to provide all the information that's possible to our citizens. You have the power to change the landscape of the political atmosphere for Edgecombe County in this election. I'm giving you a candidate that is ideal for District 2. I grew up in Speed. I went to school in Canita, and I raised my children in Tarboro. That is District 2. My wife is with me tonight, Cosetta Bond Gray, is a retired school teacher for here in Edgecombe County. She worked at Willow Grove and Cocoa. My sons, Roy Jr., Kevin, Rick, and Justin, and my two daughters, Karen and Renee, all went to the local school system here in Tarboro. I will ensure that your issues and concerns will be fully addressed. My work as a minister and a community advocate has given me a unique perspective of the pain and challenges that we face. If elected, I promise that I will give you all that I can give to improve in our county. I will be your helper to ensure that you get an answer or when problems occur. My goals: make government plain and simple, develop partnership with education, sustain and recruit businesses, large and small. Why am I interested? I can hit the ground running. 20 years local government, Tarboro City Council. 6 years, plus 6+ years, Department of Social Service, including the Human Service Board for the county. And then I've been in touch with the community while doing all of these things. What is my priorities? Seniors, we cannot overlook seniors. We need to make sure that we're doing all we can to help them. Youth, our youth of the county need to be at the table. In the Tarboro City Council, we have a youth advisory board, and we can have that same youth advisory board in the county. Every county commission can select a youth to serve on that particular committee. That's why, what are my priorities? My priorities are to make sure that things for our seniors are provided for them and a healthy eating and healthy living environment. Thank you.
Candidate for North Carolina District Court Judge, District 7, Ms. Sharon Hill Sprinkle.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Sprinkle. Thank you for inviting me to participate in this. I have been a resident of Tarboro and Edgecombe County for the past 23 years. I have lived here and worked here as a prosecutor. I've been in private practice in Rocky Mount a long time ago, and now I'm back there again. I am running for district court judge because I feel there is a need for a female candidate. There has not been a female judge in our district, which is Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson County, for 15 years. And certainly females bring a different perspective to the bench than our current male candidates. I believe that at this time in my life, I can look at people in a different way and bring my life experiences to the bench. And one of the things that I think is most important is that a district court judge be patient. No one wants to end up in court, whether it's as a divorce, as a defendant, as a victim, and I am a candidate who will listen to the people and give them their opportunity to be heard. I am professional. I have been an attorney for 26 years. I was voted by our district court bar, or our bar, to fill the position that Judge Stewart vacated at the end of December. I have experience in all the areas that are handled in district court, which include not only criminal, but child support, child custody, mental health hearings, wildlife violations, any of that stuff is heard in district court. And finally, I believe that I will bring a practical mindset to the bench. What does that mean? Well, judges are limited by what they can do. They're limited by the law and the legislature sets out. But practical means you're conservative in your court resources and what you are able to ask people to do. Thank you, and I appreciate your vote. Please vote March 15th for District Court Judge.
Candidate for District 7, North Carolina District Court Judge, Andrew Jefferson Whitley.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you, the Human Relations Commission. My name is Andrew Whitley. I was born and raised over in Wilson. My dad was the former district court judge over here in Edgecombe, Nash, and Wilson County called John G. Whitley. Some of y'all may be familiar with Judge Whitley. He is my father. I've practiced law. I've been a practicing attorney for 17 years, and for the past 10 years, I've been the clerk of Superior Court in Wilson County. So as it pertains to the questions why I'm interested in being the district court judge for Edgecombe, Nash, and Wilson County, I've been involved in the court system my entire life. Sitting there with my father, going to court in Nashville, going to court in Tarboro, going to court in Wilson. I was an observer. I've also been an attorney. I've tried cases in Nashville. I've tried cases in Tarboro. I've tried cases in Wilson. And I've also been the clerk of Superior Court. So I see the impact that our district court judges have on the people and on the families and on our communities. See, I'm there on the front lines every day dealing with the court system. And folks, there's a difference between being a lawyer and being a judge. I'm the clerk of court. And this may surprise some of y'all, but the clerk of court is also a judge and makes judicial decisions every day. As an attorney, you must be a zealous advocate for your client. As a judge, you must be an advocate for the truth. So I decide actual cases every day. They impact people's lives in the community. As a judge, I'm patient and I'm courteous, and I treat everybody the same who appear in front of me. I'm the only candidate who has actual judicial experience. My main priority when I become district court judge goes back to something that I read not too long ago. John Marshall, the first Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, said, "To listen well was more important than to speak well." And if you think about that, to listen well is what you want your judges to do. I have that experience. The judge must listen to the facts and rule on the questions of the admissibility of evidence and apply the facts to the law. And he must do it without prejudice or favoritism. I'm a judge and I do that every day. Justice must be blind in our community. For our court system to be legitimate, it must be blind. So my main priority is maintaining the integrity and the legitimacy of the court system. Whether you're old or young, rich or poor, I'm committed, and my priority is to treat everyone the same, and that's with respect. What actions would I do to enhance the quality of life in Edgecombe County? As a judge, you're limited by the resources that local governments provide. As clerk of court, I've been clerk of court for 10 years, and I brought in some innovative steps to help people who are going through the foreclosure process to prevent their houses from going into foreclosure. We've reduced foreclosure rates in Wilson County by 50%, and that's what I've done. So I would sincerely appreciate y'all's support and y'all's vote on March 15th. Thank y'all very much. I'm Andrew Whitman.
I will now read a letter for candidate District 6 Board of Education, Ms. Janice Watson Davidson. I'm sorry, before I read the letter, I would like to acknowledge that Mr. Leonard L. Wiggins, known as Lamont Wiggins, cannot be here tonight. He had a change in his schedule. So I want to make that announcement. Ms. Janice Davidson is running for Board of Education District 6. She cannot be here tonight, but she says she's here in spirit and would like to respond to the questions. She's interested in this position because she's a longtime supporter of public education. Her children, John and Corey, were educated by wonderful caring teachers in Edgecombe County Public Schools. They attended Princeville Elementary, Patillo, Martin Middle, and Tarboro. Also, a longtime supporter of our district schools. She served as grade school parent, host volunteer, school improvement team member, PTO president, and a school board member. As the first member of her family to graduate from college, she knows firsthand the value of acquiring additional skills or education following high school graduation. Public education is a means for all members of our community to progress and advance. She's interested in serving as a Board of Education member so that she can continue to support public education in our schools. Ms. Davis says that she's re-elected. Her response is the children of Edgecombe County have always been a main priority. The children need good schools, early childhood programs to ensure they're ready to start kindergarten. Need safe neighborhoods, nurturing daycare and after-school programs, medical clinics to be healthy and nutritious meals, comfortable homes with electricity, running water, heat and air conditioning. They need love, support, encouragement by parents, friends, and relatives, their churches, and neighbors. Parent and community involvement are crucial to a successful school system and to the children who attend public schools. Public education must be a community priority. The actions Ms. Davis listed that she will take to enhance the lives of the citizens of Edgecombe County includes continue participating in the Board of Education to make policies that direct the school system. Superintendent John Farley and his staff implements and administers the policy set by the board. for the sake of time, because we're still in a 3-minute rule, she will address the 4 pillars. And she's listed some facts to prove that the pillars are working and the progression that's been made. Graduation rate was 58% 6 years ago, now 81%. Student enrollment increased this year for the first time in several years by 300 students. 5 schools exceeded state growth measures last year, 6 schools met growth. Edgecombe College, 100% graduation rate for 5 consecutive years. Opened the first K-8 international school in northeastern North Carolina. Received recognition from the State Board of Education for our district-wide global education initiative in all 14 schools. 15,000 hours in global profession. In closing, Ms. Davidson hopes that the community will support her and vote for her as your District 6 representative on the Edgecombe County Board of Education. All right, did I make it? Okay. So with that being said, did we have other candidates? That's okay.
Thank you, Alice. I am so honored to serve as your state senator. My name is Erica Smith-Ingram, for those of you who have not had an opportunity to formally meet me, but I have been working very hard on your behalf. I represent Bertie, Tewan, Edgecombe, Hereford, Martin, Northampton, Terrell, and Washington counties. The district is 1,381 square miles in the distance around. I have a large territory to cover, but I do my best to make sure that I am participating and getting to know you. I was just in a meeting in Rocky Mount a couple of weeks ago, and I'm so excited about the opportunities that exist for Edgecombe County. When I ran, I bring a background as an engineer. And as you know, not only study what is, but they also plan that which has never been. And what we have never had in Edgecombe County as Senate District 3 is we have not had our piece of the pie. When I come from a perspective of the Judeo-Christian perspective that I come from, I'm familiar with the story about the daughters of Zelophehad. And the daughters of Zelophehad, it was 5 of them, and when their father died, the tradition was to pass down their inheritance through the men. However, they were female and they did not have that opportunity. So what did they do? They advocated, and so at the end of the day, the decision was made that the daughters of Zelophehad speak right. They deserve their piece of the pie. And it is in that spirit that I have gone to Raleigh, our state's capital, and I have advocated for this area because there are some of my colleagues who feel that nothing exists east of I-95. But I am here to tell you, and as I've told them and shared with them, that we deserve more than what has been coming our way. And I have passionately advocated for Edgecombe County and Senate District 3. It makes no sense that with the Jobs Development Investment Grant and the jobs plan on a statewide level that was supposed to be geared to Tier 1 counties, and as you know, Edgecombe has been Tier 1 and there's been persistent poverty for a while now. But it made no sense for the majority of those jobs to go to the urban areas like your Raleighs, your Durham, and I don't have a problem with any of these cities. I think that they do us well. But if we're going to be one strong North Carolina, we have got to connect the East with the West. We've got to connect the rural with the urban. And we've got to become a place where we don't have double-digit unemployment like we do in Edgecombe County. So I am honored to continue to serve you. I am unopposed. I do not have a candidate in the primary election nor in the general election. But with your support and your vote and your prayers, I look forward to continuing to serve you for the next 3 years, 2.5 years, in Raleigh and advocating for our piece of the pie.
Thank you. We are now at the Q&A component, and we have Mr. Joseph Bldg and Ms. Maricela Hinton, who will accept your questions. And just to remind all the candidates that you are given 2 minutes to respond. All right, this question is for Mr. Calvin Sherrod. Mr. Sherrod, according to the county tax records, you have not paid your property taxes in over 5 years. The balance stands at just under $4,000. In addition, while you were a commissioner in Princeville, the state was forced to take over the town's finances. Because the town was nearly bankrupt, please explain how you are now qualified to help oversee the $58 million Edgecombe County annual budget.
Madam Presider, as a member of the Human Relations Commission, I think the fact that Mr. Captain Sherrod taxes is his personal business, and it should not be addressed at this forum. If someone has a problem with his taxes, you should go and talk to him and him alone. He's not the only one in Edgecombe County that is delinquent in taxes. And I think the question should not be personal. Again, if you have a personal issue with someone, you need to do it outside this forum.
That's right.
And not use this forum as an opportunity to vent your frustrations.
That's right. And as a former member of the Human Relations Commission, I will respect that wish and ask that you all screen and we'll go accordingly. Screen questions. Under your, Mr. Sherrod, this is also your question, the second question.
Okay.
Under your leadership, the state of North Carolina had to take the books of Princeville. Why should we put you in leadership with the entire county when you could not properly run a town of 2,000? You can take the podium, sir.
Okay. The book when I was town commissioner, and the book was in order. We had to do a budget. We weren't doing it fast enough. LGC came in, had a problem with the mayor, Priscilla Oak. And y'all know the story. And they came to the town and took the book. When they took the book, I went to Raleigh. Miss Viola Hurst was on the LGC board. She the one throw out, take the books. And she would control District 2 for Princeville resident. She ought to try to work with the citizen of the town of Princeville, but she didn't. She threw her towel in. Take the books, take the book. I think that was a disaster for our commissioner in District 2 would say that for the older black town is she ought to try to get work with the town and judge the books if we won't do it fast enough. But she went elsewhere. Take the book, and that's a no. And we don't need no commission on board for the said take the books. She ought to try to support.
I think, yeah, the question not directed to him, but he's talking about.
There is an opportunity for rebuttal.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
But can you ask him to answer the question and not defame somebody else?
How much time is on the clock?
What's wrong?
Okay, you have 1 minute.
Okay. Edgecombe County should provide jobs for the citizens in Edgecombe County. They collect money, they collect taxes, but they ain't putting nothing back out for the citizens. The citizens in town, Princeville and Talk is poor. We don't have no kind of job going on, but they still got their hand out. I would think they need to throw something out for the citizens. Poor people, elder people in town of Princeville and Talk. But every time you turn around, they're hiking your tax. And I thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Ms. Harris, would you like your 1 minute to vote?
Ladies and gentlemen, I served proudly for 4 years on the Local Government Commission. It was the first time in the history of Edgecombe County that a commissioner had been asked and appointed by a governor to serve on the Local Government Commission. As a member of that board, I listened to not only Princeville's woes, but of the counties, cities, and towns. The Local Government Commission is there to make sure that the citizens of every town and community receives the services that they're supposed to receive. At the time that North Carolina had to come in and take the books in Princeville had $5,000 in the water and sewer fund. They had $8,000 in the general fund. Under that leadership, the Local Government Commission decided that they could no longer wait for Princeville to come up with a budget that would fulfill the needs of the state. Therefore, they had to do what was in the best interest of the 2,000 citizens who lived in Princeville. I was only one vote, but yes, I did cast that vote that it was time that someone did something to make sure that the elderly people and the children of Princeville had the opportunity to continue to receive good drinking water, that they had police protection. The only way that was going to happen was for the state of North Carolina to come in and to take over that town. I regretted it because back in 1997, the same thing occurred in the town of Princeville. I could not sit idly by and let the citizens, who have been hard-working people in the town of Princeville, the oldest town established by blacks in America, see it go down. No, I did not throw in the towel. I fought for the town of Princeville because the first thing I heard in the meeting was, we need to take the charter of that town. Thank you.
Next question is for Mr. Roy Gray. 15 years ago, the Board of Commission opted not to appoint you 4-2 in this seat. What about you has changed or improved to make you ready now? And for the sake of our time, I'll read the second question to Mr. Gray, which is somewhat similar. How will you function differently on County Commission Board versus Town Council? Mr. Gray?
15 years ago, that decision came down between 5 people, the vote of the commissioners. And I didn't have a problem with that. That was just 5 people. I'm standing before the citizens of District 2 that know what the work that I've done in the city of Tarboro. In 1999, when the flood came, I was the one on the street, knocking on doors, evacuating the citizens of East Tarboro. And now, today, I played a major role in the citizen that was in the flood zone, got better housing, got better neighborhood because of them having the opportunity to move to another area of the town and not lose the value of their home, but was credited toward the value of their home. We all learn by experience. You serve, you experience, you see things, and you do things different. Nobody in this room, nobody conduct their household today the same way they did 15 years ago, because things change. When things change, you do better, you work different, and you make different decisions. So I have no problem with my record as a Tarboro City Councilman. I have no problem with the service that I have rendered, and I have gone to training, I've gone to school to learn, to educate myself, and to be in the community talking to individuals, talking to people. So I know the needs of the community, I know the needs of District 2, because I've experienced some of the things that the citizens have experienced, and I know what those answers are. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is for all 3 candidates for commissioners of District 2. In the event that Edgecombe County Public Schools become responsible for educating students in the city of Rocky Mount, how will the county commissioners assist in the effort? And I would remind you, you have 2 minutes to respond. And we could go to whichever order you'd like to proceed.
That decision would have to come between the school boards. The school board in Nash Rocky Mount, as well as Edgecombe County, are elected bodies just like the Board of Commissioners. This would be a round the table where we would not be able to make just a decision based on what commissioners think. Our superintendents will have to get together. We will have to know the number of students that will be coming out of that school system. They would have to be able to give us the needs necessary to educate a child. We would also have to come up with a plan of action for the schools that are already currently serving those students. So it would not be just a decision that the Board of Commissioners made. This is a partnership. And we work very well with our Board of Education, and that's what we would do to come up with an answer to welcome those students in.
Mr. Sherrod?
Okay. Yeah, on that same topic, I think the county and the local town should work close together. We split just like the people in the White House, Republican, Democrat. We not working together. We could do better than this. We living in our last days. People still fighting among one another. And we should hug one another together and talk these things over, and we can do better than we do. But we're not doing half what we can do. Now we need to go out and go to these board meetings and try to see what's happening, and try to contact with some of these local officials, state officials. We vote them in. We need to talk with them and see what can we do for these schools in the county, in the local county. You know, we fighting among one another right on power, not doing anything but getting up blood pressure, going to the doctor giving them money. And why we don't talk these things out before we jump in the fire? Thank you.
I talked about in my campaign kickoff speech as being a partner with education. The school system is one of the agencies that is funded by the county commissioners. So then, if Edgecombe County Public School System is at the table and they work out what they need to do, then it's the partnership between the Edgecombe County Commissioners could come and be that partnership. And I think all 4 committees need to come together. The Nash County School System, Nash Rocky Mountain, the Nash County Commissioners, the Edgecombe County Public School System, and the Edgecombe County Commissioners will come together, sit down, and come up with a plan that works best for the children. We got to take our personal agendas out of this situation. It's the children that we are here to serve. It's the children that's the benefactors of what the decisions will be made. And so when we put children first, when we put the value of their education first, when we put their concerns first, then the decision would have to be made, and everybody gonna have to give something, and because everybody got some skin in the game. But when we work together to come up with a solution that's going to benefit the children of Edgecombe County, then Edgecombe County will be the final benefactor, because we will have a better school system for our children to go away, graduate from, and come back to.
Next question is for Mr. Whitley. For clarifying purposes, are you now, at this time, a judge or a court clerk?
Great question. The clerk of Superior Court, official title is ex officio judge of probate. So I am a judge. I'm the judge who decides whether or not a parent gets to adopt a child. I'm the judge who decides whether or not a house is foreclosed on. I'm the judge who decides if a person is incompetent or not. I could tell you a little story about one of the cases that I heard. It was just a few years ago. This young child inherited $5 million from the death of her father. Her her rights as a parent had been terminated. So I was a judge who had to decide where this child was going to live, what was going to happen to that money. Think about that. That's a judge. So as the clerk of court, I'm a judge, and I decided that case. I had 36 family members and friends show up, and they all knew what was best for that child. But I was the one who ultimately had to decide what was best for that child. So I am a judge. That may be somewhat confusing because we see the clerk of court, we think someone who files paperwork. But that's not what a clerk of court only does. The clerk of court holds many hats, and the judicial hat is one of those hats. I'm a judge, and I held first appearances in criminal cases. I've appointed counsel for defendants. I hate to say this, I've even sent people to jail. That's the authority of the clerk of court. So, yes, as clerk of court, I'm the judge. So, hope that answers y'all's question.
Thank you. The next question is actually for both candidates, District 7 judge, District Court judge. What ideas do you have ready to implement for the youth who come before your court if you're elected?
In juvenile court, you certainly have the opportunity to take kids and put them on the right path. But of course, a judge is limited by the resources that the legislature and the local commissioners give to you. You know, I love community service. I think every child should do community service and get out there in their community and give something back rather than taking from the community. So that's one example. But you know, any kid can go do that anytime instead of a judge ordering that they do that. So again, you're just limited by what you can do, but certainly you would encourage community involvement with the youth and trying to get them to care about their community instead of being in front of you.
So, again, I'm Andrew Whitley. I'm a father of 3 young children. My daughter Anna Jane is 6, my son Jefferson is 4, and my big girl Caroline is 10 months old. I care about the youth. The youth are our future. But when you see youth coming into the court system, you already see that there's something that's broken. And we have to figure out a way to fix it at a community level. Because once you get to the court system, I hate to say it's too late, but our options as a judge are somewhat limited as to what we can do. One of the things I'm proposing doing is when you sit down with, in juvenile court, with the parents, with the child, to sit down and see, you can work with the court counselors in the juvenile court system, to see if you can formulate a plan that the child can take interest in, that they can take ownership in. Because that's what's really important, is for the child to buy into the solution, to come clean and say, this is where the problem is, and I can accept this plan. So I think the children need to be listened to a little bit to help formulate that plan so they can own that plan. And if they don't follow through, then, you know, the court has to do what the court does, and that's the punishment. So, thanks.
My next question is for you two as well. The next question is, recently there's been discussion about judicial reform. What is your perspective in regards to this issue?
We asked for clarification, judicial reform, and what? Yeah, that's pretty broad.
I tell you what.
Okay.
We will move to the next question, which involves all candidates, and that'll give that person a time to elaborate on their question. All right. So this is for all candidates, and I love it if we can start with Mr. Blue and just go down the line. It reads, what have you done to support voting rights for North Carolina residents?
That's an easy answer for me to give. I served for the last 3 or 4 years as the chairman of the Wake County Democratic Party. As such, it was my job to make sure that we were appointing precinct judges. It was my job to make sure that we were asking for adequate early voting. It was my job to make sure that we were advocating for an expansive set of voting rights that we could possibly get. So that involved both making sure that it was there for Wake County, but it also meant, because I was in the county where the legislature sat, that we, and I in particular, would participate in the protest against what the General Assembly was doing. I think that it's part of our DNA as Americans and as citizens to make sure that more people have the opportunity to vote, as opposed to shrinking the number of people that have the opportunity to vote. So I can point to my record as a party leader of making sure that we had all of the adequate protections in place, both staffing, financially, to make sure that we had everybody lined up so that they could exercise their constitutional right to vote in North Carolina.
I participated in passing of the Voting Rights Act for the United States of America, which includes North Carolina. And so I would say I would start with that. I've been a member of the North Carolina NAACP and on the executive committee for the NAACP for many years. And part of the work that we have done, and you've read about us in the media, is we have challenged voting rights issues in the state, and we've gone before the legislature. And sometimes we have sat in uninvited so that we can talk on behalf of the people of North Carolina, and certainly Edgecombe County, by the way. I stand very strongly on the issue of voting rights, because one of the things that's going on in our country that you may not be aware of, in North Carolina specifically, is that the rights of the voters are being shrunk all over the place. There are all kinds of ways. And one of the things that happens, by the way, in the Commission on Labor, is that comes up as one of the things that the Commission on Labor has great influence on. And I would say to you, pledge to you, that on the Commission on Labor, I would be very strong on this whole issue that I spent a big part of my life working for and struggling for in everywhere that I've been, and certainly in North Carolina. I've been in North Carolina since 1989. That's when I decided to make North Carolina my home. And at that time, if you will check, you'll have to go, thank you, check, and check the name. You will find the name anywhere where there's been an activation on the part of the workers and the people of North Carolina. I did it in the past, I did it now, and I'll do it in the future. Thank you very much.
Ever since 2005, when I first started running for county commission, town of Springfield, I was out there arresting people. And that was my first of all, to try to get people that never arrested, give them to the poll, give them the vote. And I think people should do that, because a lot of people do not participate in their right to vote. And I still do that right now. Ever since 2005, try to get people to the poll and try to give them direction and vote. I think these churches ought to get involved and try to get some of the people in the community to vote, ration them up, and give them to the poll, because every vote counts. And don't think a vote don't count now, because it's real serious right here now. I preach this word again. We live in our last days. It's getting worse and worse. Now we need to get out there and try to get these young people to register and vote and get them to the poll. Thank you.
Ever since I became of age to vote, I recognize the importance of voting, and I've made sure that it's been a part of my everyday life. At my home church, we've made sure that we do registration drives. The pastor has allowed us to use fellowship hall. We make sure that we talk to every senior in high school to make sure that they've registered to vote. If not, we bring the card to them to help them register to vote. I've also visited senior citizen centers to make sure that any of our seniors who don't currently have an ID are able to get one, because we knew that the laws were changing in 2016. As a member of the North Carolina Alliance of Black Elected Officials, I've become a part of a floating forum. We're going to all parts of the state to make sure that people know their voting rights. We're making sure that we talk to young men and women who have been incarcerated, who are now out, that they understand how to get their voting rights back. On the street, at the grocery store, anyone that we've seen, especially over the last year, I've stopped, shook their hand and asked, are you registered to vote? And if they're not registered to vote, I've made sure that they know where to go to get registered, to make sure that they know they have the proper identification in order to get registered. So it is part of church, it's part of school, where I work at community college. I make sure I take registration forms to the college and give them out to all of our students, whether they're in Edgecombe or Nash. I collect them and take them to the proper Board of Elections to make sure that they have the opportunity to vote.
I guess they want us to use the podium, I'm sorry. I'm more used to walking around. I've been active in the Democratic Party my entire life. I remember going door to door in 1978. I was 9 years old, and President Jimmy Carter was coming to Wilson. And I went door to door inviting people to come see President Carter speak at the Wilson County Public Library. I've been active in Democratic politics ever since. I was a precinct judge. I've been an election day poll worker. But I've been involved in the grassroots side of politics my entire life, getting people interested in getting people to the polls to vote. That's my experience with voting, and I'm happy to say that I voted in every single election since 1986. I happened to study abroad when I was right out of college, and I got my master's degree in Australia. And that was in 1994. And y'all know what I did? I got on a plane, and I flew back to the United States to vote in that election in November. Y'all know what happened in 1994? That was the Gingrich Revolution. But I came back to vote against that revolution. So I'm committed to voting, and I'm committed to getting people out to vote in our communities. Thank you.
Well, I ask everyone that I meet, are you registered to vote? That is obviously one of the most important rights of any American citizen. And if you don't exercise that right to vote, then you don't have the right to complain. I help people every day to get their license so that they will have a proper ID when they do exercise that right to vote. Like Andrew, I voted in every election since I was 18. Very important right.
I turned 18 on May 28, 1971. On May 30, 1971, I went down to Mr. Kirkland's house in Speed. His wife was a registrar, and I knocked on the door and told her I wanted to register to vote. From that point up to this point, I have worked diligently to make sure that every person that I knew registered and voted. I made sure that every one of my children, when they turned 18, that they would register and vote. I serve as pastor of the Cedar Hill Missionary Baptist Church in Wilmington, and I made sure that we stressed that point just about every Sunday morning to register and vote. We hosted Democracy NC, or a voter workshop at our church. Not just one, probably 4 or 5 different times, especially every election. I've served as the Edgecombe County chairman of the Democratic Party, served as vice chair of the Democratic Party, served as precinct chair of precinct 1-1 and 1-4. I work to make sure that every opportunity, and I try to say to all the members every Sunday morning, make sure that you don't lay down and go to sleep and somebody in your household is 18 years old or older and not voting. Thank you.
I apologize, but I have 2 more commitments this evening. Thank you.
What have I done? From a grassroots level, I have served as a Democratic Party registered as a college student at North Carolina A&T State University. And as a teacher, I'm currently a teacher, so we work really hard to make sure that our seniors who are eligible to vote get registered early. I've served as precinct chair of the party and my county Democratic Party chair as well. In that capacity, I was responsible for organizing collaborative efforts with local transportation and our pastors to get people out to vote. And when I look at the last week, I can tell you that I worked very hard to ensure our voting rights in North Carolina. Many of you are aware of the new congressional maps, and I have brought copies of the maps. They are on the table. I welcome you to get a copy of this map to see how your congressional maps have changed and what district you're in. Now, all of Edgecombe County is with Congressman Butterfield, and that's a wonderful thing. And so, serving to make sure our rights were protected, I took my responsibility very serious on last week, and I challenged my colleagues on the bad maps, because bad maps do divide our vote, and then, maps that are skewed to have that 10-3 representation. When North Carolina, we are really a purple state. We have 2.9 million registered Democrats, 2.6 million registered Democrats, 1.9 million registered Republicans. And our delegation should look more 50-50 than it does now, which is 10-3. And then to bring it home, one of the challenges that we have in our community is making sure that felons who have served out their sentence and their probation and all of their responsibilities, they need to be reminded to get back into the civic ball game and register to vote. Also, if you've been convicted of a misdemeanor, but you are in jail, you can vote by absentee ballot. So I brought additional handouts for you to take back to family members and friends in the community to make sure that even if you've made a mistake, you can still vote. So please get a copy of them. They're out on the table.
Thank you to all of the candidates for responding to that question. I actually have a few more questions for the judges, and then the order will go. We have 2 questions for Mr. Blue, and then we will allow candidate for school district for Edgecombe County Board of Education to respond to 3 questions, and that should conclude our evening. The question, I'll one at a time, okay? Okay, one overwhelm you. You are aware that most juveniles are imposed large fines and fees. What are the alternatives as a judge?
Well, when you speak of the large fines and fees, that again is set by your legislature, which is why it's always important to vote for your legislative representative. Currently we treat juveniles 16 and over as adults. And so, I don't know what the true definition of juvenile would be under 16. And that is handled in the juvenile court system, which is also the district court system. Most of the time it is put on the parents if it's in the juvenile setting. But again, the only control that a judge really has is over the amount of the fine that you would impose on someone. The court costs are set by the legislature, and they go up every single year. I've been practicing law long enough to remember when it was $25 to pay a seatbelt. It is now $179 to pay a seatbelt. And so that court cost is something that is set by the legislature. And the only leeway a judge really has is in the imposition of fines. And certainly that's where I would impose that practical aspect that I'm talking about. You're a kid, do you have a job? Would you rather do community service? Actually, you have to pay $250 for the privilege of doing community service. That again is set by your legislature. Thank you.
Stay right
Nope,
here.
I got another one.
I have two more for you, so hang out right here for a second.
Okay, sure.
All right. What do you think of the new redistricting maps? Elaborate either pro or con, and what would you propose?
That is way above my pay grade, I can tell you. That I'm not the kind of judge, I wouldn't be the kind of judge that would decide that. Certainly I think it needs to reflect the population as it is and people that have the same sort of interest. And I have no authority over that. District court would not handle any redistricting.
All right. The next question. How would or do you handle criminal cases in which the person has a mental health issue? And then the second question on this card is, would you please comment on the pipeline to prison?
Ooh, okay. Only have 3 minutes, right? There is a dearth of mental health facilities. Certainly in a criminal setting, the person has to have the capacity to proceed. And if they lack the capacity to proceed, there has to be the person sent off for evaluation, and then an order comes back saying, report saying that they are incompetent or they lack the competency to proceed. And if that is the case, then the judge does have the authority to dismiss any criminal charges where the person lacks that capacity. Now, I have seen many times in the court system where people have ended up in jail because they have a mental health problem or they have a drug problem. Those, in my mind, are more mental health issues or substance abuse issues than criminal. And as far as a pipeline to, what was the
Pipeline to prison.
Pipeline to prison. Just from my personal perspective, I believe that the pipeline to prison starts at home. I think that if you have a strong family, that your family expects great things of you, then you're going to not be on that pipeline to prison. And again, community involvement is very important. And the kids that have the family support, that have the community involvement, are not going to end up in the court system. The ones whose parents don't care for them, don't want them, end up in the court system, and they become the county and the state's problem.
Mr. Blue, thank you for coming for such an informative, thank you for coming in for such an informative description of the position of treasurer. I don't know who is also winning in this election. Since they are not here, could you point out something that makes you the better candidate? Second question, I'm going to give it to you, if that's okay with you. Janet Cowell has done a good job with the teacher retirement and pensions. What will you do different?
So usually you're not supposed to talk about your opponent if they're not here, because you don't want to give them the name space. I have a primary opponent named Ron Elmer. The primary difference between me and Ron would be that I appreciate that the treasurer's office does more than manage a pension, and that pension, even when you focus into it, is more than just an exercise in making numbers grow or get smaller. I say it that way because the pension plan, as well as the state health plan, is part of the benefits, part of the bundle of benefits that we give to state employees, teachers in particular. Those of you that are familiar with public sector jobs know that we often don't pay public sector employees what they deserve, but we make it up with a good benefits package. And as you get even higher, you can't bring people into the state and give them stock options, for example. You can't really give them rich 401k programs, but you can give them a pension that allows them to retire with dignity, something that allows them to know that they will be better off having served the public than having done anything else with their lives. So I get that, and I say it that way because, again, if you go into my background and you see my commitment to public education, to public sector work, and that's demonstrated through the boards and commissions that I've served on, through the times that I spend with the little bit of time I have outside of the office, it's dedicated to making sure that I'm advancing healthcare, advancing education, or paying respects to the people that help run our state. My opponent doesn't have any of that. When you shift gears, when I get to the general election, I'll be running against a gentleman named Dale Falwell. Dale is a public servant. He has served his state very well by representing his county. But his view on what the Treasurer's Office is best demonstrated by the work that he's done. He worked in the Employment Security Commission, where his primary job was to cut unemployment benefits for the very people that needed the unemployment benefits. You do that if for you managing these processes is a budgetary or a numerical exercise. But if you believe in the state and our ability to make people stronger, our ability to grow an economy by investing in the people and the infrastructure, then you see you've got to have a much broader vision. You've got to make sure that your cents are making dollars, but that your dollars are making cents. And I think that's the way I would qualify that. You had a second question. That's right. About what I would do differently from what Janet Cowell has done. I am one who believes that Treasurer Cowell has done a fantastic job. And it is basically building off of her foundation that allows me to move into other areas that I think are critical. The state of North Carolina has an aging infrastructure. You need not look any further than the papers and the articles on Flint, Michigan, for example, where in order to save $13,000 to $15,000, they did not invest in simple water treatment pills. And as a result, there's a generation of kids that are now drinking lead-poisoned water. And it's going to have tremendous impact. Janet's good work on the pension and the retirement system allows me to focus on health care, for example, which falls in the Treasurer's Office. It allows me to focus on infrastructure, for example, that falls in the Treasurer's Office. Doesn't mean that we're going to lose our focus on what the pension does, but it does mean that we have a little bit more flexibility to reach a little bit higher into some of those other problematic areas.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience. That concludes our Q&A period. We will now have closing remarks by each of our candidates, if they so choose. Before I proceed with that, I'd like to invite Ms. Bldg to come, running for candidate for District 2 Board of Education, and I'd like to ask her to use her 3 minutes to address the questions and or provide closing remarks. And then when you proceed in this order, as you're seated. Thank you.
I prefer to do closing remarks. Okay, my name is Bldg. I am running for the school board for the 2nd district. Now, before you the last term, I was known as Joe Dickens' wife, Jacqueline's mom, JW's mom, and I'm still known as that. But I'm here to tell you that I appreciate the opportunity that you gave me to serve on the Edgecombe County Public Schools Board. I'm excited. I'm pleased about the direction that the school is moving towards with technology and also student achievement. We've made several accomplishments because of our direction and our leadership, and hats off to the entire staff and community that have rallied behind Edgecombe County Public Schools. It's been a pleasure. I want to continue, and I appreciate every vote.
I just want to remind the candidates at 2 minutes when you close the remarks. Thank you.
one thing that I want to make sure that you all know is that commitment to service is just that. You sacrifice time, you sacrifice a lot of things, but when you have a heart to serve and an eagerness to help people, then you give up that sacrifice. I've lived in Edgecombe County all my life, just short of the 4 years I spent in the United States Marine Corps. And I have seen Edgecombe County come from where I grew up on Dickens Hill Road, out near Speed, and would walk to the edge of the road and look to my left and look to my right and saw maybe 2 or 3 cars a day, to a point where now we have an opportunity to provide unique opportunities in every area. A problem at Southwest Edgecombe is not just a problem with Southwest Edgecombe. It's every citizen of Edgecombe County's problem. A problem in the sheriff department is not just a problem in the sheriff department. It's a problem for every citizen of Edgecombe County. I, Roy A. Gray Sr., is asking for your vote as I offer myself as a candidate for District 2 of the Edgecombe County Commission. I will serve with an eagerness and a commitment like none other. I serve at the pleasure of the citizen, and the citizen will always be my top priority. And so I say to you, each one of you, go tell everybody that on March 15th, cast your vote for Roy A. Gray Sr.
Again, my name is Sharon Sprinkle, and I am a candidate for the 7th Judicial District, which encompasses Edgecombe, Nash, and Wilson counties. Voting for me on March 15th will give this district an opportunity to have a female's point of view. I know we've got some good male judges, but I have raised 2 daughters. One's 20, one's 17, and they are fine individuals, and I think that gives me a unique perspective to sit on the bench and hear all the kinds of cases that come in front of the district court. I think I am the only candidate with the breadth of experience in law that encompasses the district court. I will be patient, I will be professional, and I will be practical. I urge you to go look at my website, which is sprinklefordistrictcourtjudge.net, and to vote for me on March 15th. Thank you.
Again, I'd like to thank the Human Relations Commission for allowing us to be here tonight, and thank each and every one of you citizens for being concerned about what's going on with Edgecombe County. Again, my name is Viola Harris. I have been the commissioner in District 2 for the past 15 years. I believe that I have been accessible, dedicated, and I have the experience. I've taken the time to go to Raleigh to make sure that I've been trained, because I wasn't born to be a commissioner. So I had to learn and I had to study. I have over 300 hours under my belt because I attend a different session every 3 months. Even though I'm a 15-year veteran, I go to the class that's for first-time commissioners. We all need a refreshment every now and then because things change and we have to stay on top of things. I believe I've been very accessible, not only in District 2, but all over Edgecombe County. I believe I can go to every single district and I know at least 1 to 2 people there. I believe I've been dedicated because I've been a wife for 36 years. I've raised 3 daughters, and I've also made sure that my husband's church knows that I am the first lady because I've been standing by his side. which means I wear a lot of hats. But all those hats are for Edgecombe County. I am dedicated to Edgecombe County. No matter where I am in the state of North Carolina or in the United States, I'm proud to say I'm from Edgecombe County because I believe the best asset that we have are the people here in Edgecombe County. So I'm asking you, early vote starting March 3rd, vote for Viola Harris, re-election to the Board of Commissioners. I believe in teamwork, and you're part of that team. Thank you.
I'm Kevin Sherrod. I'm born in Edgecombe County. I served on Pioneer Court for 2 years, a commissioner. Served for the town of Princefield 4 years. I might not have that many years on my belt, but I have common sense, know how to run a board. I don't sit on a board and eat everything they put on the table. I sit on the board and judge what coming to the table and vote accordingly. The board election, city elected officials, the commission have the power, opinion, to catch out the vote and carry on the town. Only one way, if people vote me in, I won't eat everything that comes to the table. I would do some research, then vote. But if people put you in, then you get behind the table and work get the people where you put you in. What kind of mess is that? People put you in there. You're supposed to serve the people. But people forget. They put on a brand new suit, go to Walmart, get a brand new dress and put on, and they think they got it going on. But they don't have it going on. They need to come out here and serve the people. Now, y'all come out and vote for Kevin Sherrod. I'll serve the people. I won't be about that crowd look pretty and all sophisticated. I work for the people. Now, y'all have any relative, anybody in District 2, come out and vote for Kevin Sherrod. I'll show you how to make some progress in Edgecombe County. Thank you, ma'am.
In 1975, God said to me, go to law school. I went. In 1988, God said to me, and now you will preach. And I was the first woman to pastor the Baptist church in the state of North Carolina. On the 5th of December this year, in 2015, God said to me, run for the Commission on Labor. So you know that's one of the reasons why I'm running for the Commission on Labor. I'm running also because workers in North Carolina need a voice on the Council of State. How many people in here are workers? There is not a voice for workers on the Council of State for North Carolina, and I want to be a voice for workers. I want to speak for what it is that workers need. I have worked all my life on behalf of the workers. That is my history. That is what I intend to continue to do. I want to say, Brother Bruce asked about who your opponents are. You all know that the present Commissioner of Labor is going to be the opponent in November. But I presently have an opponent who started out as a Republican and who decided that from then on, they wanted to be mayor of Raleigh. And after that, they decided they wanted to be governor and said, well, I can't win governor, so I better run for the Commission of Labor. And that's who my opponent is. But I have always wanted to work for labor. I've always wanted to work for workers. And I want you to know that that is where my background is, that's where my heart is. It is with you, and I will continue to work hard for the workers of North Carolina to get the benefits that the workers deserve and that the workers need to have. Thank you very much. And so I want to know Maisie Ferguson. My name is Maisie Ferguson. My name is Maisie Ferguson. And I want to be the next Commissioner of Labor for the state of North Carolina on behalf of the people of North Carolina. I assure you that if you select me, that will make a difference. By the way, when someone mentioned democracy in North Carolina, I was the one who did Souls for the Polls, because I was for the General Baptist State Convention. I was the one who came with Bob Hall and did Souls for the Polls. I work for the people. Thank you.
I love this state. Loved it wanted to move to New York and realized that I missed parts of North Carolina, I needed to come back. More than the state itself, I love her people. I love the natural resources here. I love the commitment to education. I love the investment in infrastructure. And I love the fact that North Carolina has pulled itself out of the southern backwaters and decided that it's going to be better than its neighbors. It's going to be a world-class state for world-class people. Now, I think most of you agree that education is important to us. I think most of you agree that infrastructure is a wise investment for us to make. I think all of you would agree that we need to invest in North Carolina's people, whether they're working for the state or whether they're sitting in our schools. That's why I'm running. It's that easy. But what I want you to know is that I actually love this state so much that I'm willing to give my time and energy and effort to it, because I've seen my dad do it as a senator, as a House of Representatives, as a former Speaker of the House. And I will tell you that wherever I am in this state, whether it's a large crowd or a small audience, I'm happy to be talking to this state's people about where this state is headed, what we need to do to turn it around, and to make sure that we as a people understand the opportunities that we have. When you look at the Treasurer's office, I always want you to remember one thing. All of that money belongs to the people of North Carolina. We decide what you do with it. We invest it. But it's not until we together speak as a $90 billion pension fund, for example, that people actually recognize what it is we're talking about. You want to say something for workers? Say it to the corporate board where you've got your money invested. You want to do something about health care? Do it from the position of someone that has 700,000 lives covered under a state health plan. It gets real really quickly. I want to help you make it real, because it's real to all of us, and it's real to me, and it's really important to me that you vote for me on March 15th. Dan Bldg III is your next state treasurer. Thank you.
Let us give each of the candidates a round of applause. And thank you for our timekeeper, Ms. Mary Stella Hinton. Thank you all for abiding by her sign, her red sign. And thank you to Mr. Joseph Bldg for serving as our co-moderator with the Q&A. We are now going to have closing remarks and acknowledgments by Reverend Roosevelt Higgs, who is the Vice Chairperson of Edgecombe County Human Relations Commission.
Madam Moderator, just before I come, Jamil has something she would like to share in relation to the school bond.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Jamila Hawkins, and I work with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service as a Community and Rural Development Agent. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody received this information in your seats that says vote March 15th for the Connect NC bond. And my role here is not to tell you how to vote, but to make sure that you know this bond will be on your ballot. And so this bond, just to give you a little bit of information, is all about supporting agriculture, science, and innovation that yields opportunity for our youth and for our future. And so how it specifically relates to Edgecombe County, Edgecombe Community College, if you look in this booklet, is slated to receive over $7 million to go towards new construction, repairs, and renovation. There's also money in this bond for natural resources, for example, our parks, for some communities across the state, and to just make sure that we are rising to the challenge as we are working to educate our youth around agriculture, engineering, science, technology, and math. And so I just wanted to make sure that each of you knew that this will be on the ballot on March 15th, and so you can study this information and decide how you would like to vote. Thank you.
I'd like to officially say good afternoon to everyone. And I'm down to the closing and the acknowledgement. And I think we've been here at a very reasonable amount of time. I think the forum has been very informative and has met its objective. We do thank the moderator for the wonderful way that you have carried out this event. Let's give also the co-moderator. And we're just thankful that we have a county commissioners as well as a county manager that support the activities of the Human Relations Commission. We have always tried to do things that about like a good song. If you start on a bad note, you try to do everything you can to at least end it on a good note. And for y'all that have been around to some of the churches and hear them sing, you realize they may get started off kind of rough, but they get together for its end. So I also like at this time, like that's all of the elected officials, if y'all will please stand. And tell us who you are.
Bobby Jones, Mayor for Town of Springfield.
Evelyn Shaw Wilson, Chair of Edgecombe County Board of Education.
Deborah Jordan, Councilwoman for the Town of Tarboro, Ward 6.
Over Davis, 2nd District.
Viola Harris, Edgecombe County Commissioner, District 2.
Thank you. Let's give them a hand. I did get an acknowledgement from Ken Spalding, who is running for governor, as well as Ms. Linda Coleman, who's running for lieutenant governor, and Marcus Williams. There's 12 things going on tonight in Martin County, Pitt County, Nash County. So some of those are at those events, but they say they will be coming to Edgecombe before the election comes. Another group, HRC members, will y'all please stand? Jamil, you stand there, you one of us. Let's get it. I say you all as candidates, I say you all for last for a purpose. I know, as well as you all know, and everybody knows this when I finish telling you, individual in Edgecombe County, there's 112 names that can impact the voters in one way or the other when you look at everybody that has filed. And you just don't go down and file and have your name put on the ballot. When you file, if the board is doing their job and they're doing their job properly, they send y'all a certification letter, right? So when y'all get that certification letter, that letter means that you all have met the North Carolina general statute requirement to be a candidate for that particular office, right? Amen? Okay. So we commend you all for being willing to go down and put your names on the line. When it all said and done, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. But we're going to still live here in Edgecombe County, and we're going to love ye one another. Will we all please stand? We're going to ask Reverend Harris if you would come and give us a closing prayer.
Mr. Vice Chairman,
yes, sir.
Is any media here? Is any media here? Okay, I just want to say this will be on YouTube tonight, so you can tell everybody. I do this out of pocket. I don't get paid like the media do. But tonight is the first time I have come to a forum and didn't fill out any questions. I hope the HRC do a better job the next time in screening this, because I got to put this on the TV for the world to see. People across the nation look at my stuff. I'm very upset how this thing started out, because I'm a diehard politician and I want to know about candidates. When you say it's about a person, it may be if it's about their household or something, but if it's somebody running for something and it's about money, taxes, and whatever dealing with me, I need to know. And I am a precinct chair in Edgecombe County and one of the diehard Democrats. Now, if we cannot come to a forum and ask questions, you need to let me know, because I want to know. I don't come to a forum. I'm supposed to have been 2 hours away tonight at a basketball game, but I chose to come here because I want to know about the candidate. So in the future, make sure you screen them out, do whatever, and let me know, because I don't need to be here if I cannot ask the hard questions, because I'm sick of criminals being elected politicians. I need to know what they stand for, and they're going to truly represent me. I'm very upset about tonight.
Well, Mr. Dancy, I like to say I'm very thankful for you for coming. I'm sorry that you feel the way that you feel, and although you say this will be on YouTube, I want you to make sure you capture this. You just shared your opinion. I shared mine as a member of the Human Relations Commission. I don't discredit your opinion. I hope you don't discredit mine, nor anyone else that's in here. But you can edit it if you want to.
Will not.
Or you cannot edit it.
Will not.
But I don't think nobody in here is ashamed of anything that was said or done. And if you have a problem with it, then it's your problem, not the Human Relations Commission. Thank you.
I will be adding more to it. Thank you.
Okay.
Let us pray. Oh, precious and all-wise God, again, we humble ourselves before your throne, God, tonight. Yes, to tell you thank you for all that has been said and done on tonight. God, we ask you to bless each and every one, God, here tonight. Lord, every candidate, God, we know that you are always in charge. We know, God, whoever be chosen in the seat to help Edgecombe County, Lord, to help the entire world, Lord. I heard them talk about the youth, and they talked about the elder, God. Realizing, God, we all got to come together. So no matter who be chosen, God, we know that you will be in the midst. So we just want to thank you now, God, as you bless each and every one as we leave this place. Grant us with traveling mercy, God, continue to bless the human resource service, God. Lord, we will ever bless your name, and you give us these things that we ask you to do for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.